Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Michelle Oliver, and I'm here representing the Coaching Collective. And as every Wednesday, I am absolutely just so honored and thrilled to be here with you today, Pete Ambrosino. And he's actually an international business coach, covers a lot of ground, and we've had some incredible conversations. The last 2 weeks, we were discussing irresistible offers. And today we are going to approach this topic of businesses when they feel like they are in a crisis. A lot of people are feeling some pressure. There's a lot of information in the news. So businesses, when they feel they are in a crisis, how the irresistible offer becomes even more important. Is that right? Did I explain that
Absolutely
here?
nailed it, Michelle. Great work. I think from the few minutes that we talked before our podcast today, I think we really have our finger on the pulse of what's happening in business right now. I mean, would you agree?
Absolutely. And the first thing you start hearing is doubt and fear all over the place.
Sure. And what's everybody's first knee-jerk reaction when doubt and fear shows up mentally, right? What happens? What do?
They contract. They pull back.
Pull back,
contract.
start reining in the advertising, maybe not marketing so much, kind of protecting little hedgehog mentality, which is good to an extent. However, we need to lean in to the fear. And we need to really identify, because there's several crises that can happen in the life cycle of a business. Several things can happen. Like right now, everybody's feeling the crunch of the economy and the value of the dollar and the interest rates going up and all these things that are the percent. You're seeing real estate signs hang out a whole lot longer than normal. Would you say?
Absolutely, yes. And that it is a reaction instead of a response.
Yeah.
And I think business owners, because they try to be wary, and I understand that you want to have like a bird's eye view of what's going on, and you want to be smart, and you don't want to be impulsive or risky. And yet, I think what you're going to share with us today is that there is a response that is much more effective than just kind of pulling back into your shell.
Sure. And if you think of your clients and the people that you want to help so much, what are they expecting out of you as the business owner as you step up and provide service, right? They need to see that leadership. That hey, I'm not afraid. I might be afraid right now, might be a little afraid, but like we said before, I need 6 seconds of courage to get through and to get over it, right? To get over that hump. So in that 6 seconds of courage to get us over, how can I make the experience of the client even more valuable? How can I pour even more into them so that 1, they don't leave, 2, they come back, 3, you create a raving fan, because ultimately that's what we want, right? We don't want just clients, we want raving fans.
Absolutely.
So, in the crisis right now, I would say 2 things that are boiling right now. One is the economy, but I'm going to ask your opinion. Do you think that mid-game or midstream at some point in the next 2 to 4 months, you think the government might change the rules on things a little bit for us?
No, they're so steady. Everything is predictable. I'm safe.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know what? Shame on us if we don't anticipate that. Shame on us if we don't actually see, okay, what's happening in the market that we're in. What's the business that we're really in right now? You and I are in the people business. We're in the emotional strength business. We're in the survival and the survival of the fittest business, right?
Resiliency.
All day long. So speaking of leaning in, what I would pose, and here's something that I kind of thought of, and I would want to bounce it off of you. have you, Michelle, ever thought what would be your ideal offer that you could present? Like your most favorite ideal offer that you could present from your business? What would that look like? Just in a broad sense.
The ideal offer, well, it like many business owners, I go all over the place with this, to be honest. So ideally, I work with women in midlife, and ideally I like to work with them on a long-term basis because I know how long it really takes. But that is not the irresistible entry. That's not like opening the door. There's a lot of relationship building that has to happen prior to that. But I know that at the end of the day, that's where the powerful results lie. Is that a vague enough answer?
No, it's great, because, my sense is that if, let's say, your irresistible offer starts them out in let's use the one strategy, small commitment leading into a larger one, for example.
Exactly. Yeah.
Somebody starts off feeling you out in a group setting, maybe for the first 90 days to see what's going on, right?
Exactly.
Right. And then eventually they're going to love you and love what the results are that they've committed to. And they're going to be like, oh, wait, how do I get more of Michelle?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's the plan. Right. Or it doesn't work out and they go to someone else and I help them there. But it's getting to know each other. It's like, it's just a relationship. Absolutely. And they need an opportunity to understand even what they want to be. So I know I'm taking us up to the side a little bit.
No.
This is what happens. Like, think about when you want something and you think you know what it is, and then you get into it and you're like, you realize more, you gain a greater self-awareness of your needs and your desires. And often in the first 90 days, that's what happens. They come in for one reason, and then we realize, oh, there's so much more to it underlying this. So and then what I was going to say is, from there, they really need to know. I mean, each one of us needs to know, am I really going to gain what I want out of this, or at least progress in that direction? If the end result may be forthcoming or not immediately, how fast can I move, and where am I going? And can you help me get there? Can you help me? Right? They just want to know, can you really do it?
No, exactly. And you know what? Here's the thing. Do you think women operate more emotionally or men operate more emotionally? Which do you think?
Women.
Right? All day long, right?
All day long.
So if you had, let's just say that you poured into this ideal client, and you just know that she's going to experience amazing results in short periods of time, right? And your offer, you didn't have a second option. Right? So all of this focus on creating an irresistible offer, we really need to create more than one.
Absolutely agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what we think, our perception of your, let's say you as a client, I kind of have an idea of how much you earn, maybe. I kind of have an idea. For me, I kind of have an idea on a range of business that they're doing, but what I don't know is their margins that they're working in, right?
Yeah.
There's the secret sauce. Do you know your margin? Do you know your gross profit margin? Do you know your net profit margin? Right? Most businesses go, oh, what's a P&L? How does that show that? Swear to God, it's the first thing we start
with. Hope that's not true.
Oh my God.
I mean, even I know that. So you better know that. That's
you better know that.
Business. One of my 17-year-old knows that. But anyway,
no.
If you don't know that, just raise your hand and we'll tell you all about it.
Right. So here's how that ties in. If you're not confident in your knowledge of what your margins are, how do you know what you could really give to your ideal client up front and preload the value? Right? if I know the lifetime value of that client, that if they're with me for a year or two or three or four or five, whatever that looks like,
Yeah.
what are they spending with me? What's my margin? And what am I really willing to give up front for that to create an irresistible offer?
Great point. It's perspective from the business owner has to know where they are going in order to serve and help their client know where they are going. I
Absolutely.
think of it like climbing a mountain. I'm in Colorado and always have hiked. I think of it as like the person behind you. Sometimes you know where you're going. You've been to the summit 10 times, right? And then, but you have different audience members. So if it's the child, you're going to help them be more playful. You're going to give them what they can. You're going to say, like, well, jump up here and go around this way and look at this. And this is how we're getting there. And there are other people that you can go the direct route to the summit, right?
Yep.
But even with those offers, it's always like an invitation to, okay, trust yourself a little bit more. And as they trust themselves, I know that's how they begin to trust me more. Honestly, it's not about me. It's
No.
really about what I can help them understand they can do.
Yep. Yep.
It's
Absolutely.
fascinating psychologically, honestly. It's
Yeah. And it's not like we're trying to, flip these switches or be more, manipulative or anything like that. It's just if you have survived this long through your life,
yeah,
without somebody on your team like a coach, and finding the right coach, because I mean, this is what this collective is all about. It's finding the right personality that will, and motivation is not what we do. Inspire, evoke is more of a right, or uncover what's possible, right? Provide better perspectives, right? Things that you may have never thought about. And in turn that will motivate, obviously, right? But that's not really the business.
Right, exactly.
But when they feel what it's like having somebody on their team that is pulling for them, or that's walking alongside of them arm in arm through their dark forest, through the, and I don't want to say hell, but through the, you heard that expression, when going through hell, just keep going, because you're just going to you're going to come out of it at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having somebody to walk with you through that is so powerful. I mean, I quite honestly feel blessed that I get to do what I do, because it's such an amazing experience for me. And I'm sure you do the same. You feel the same, to actually see that unraveling and see those realizations and light bulbs go off and the changing in the lives that, all we did was walk with them. It's all we did. We're not magicians, but.
I have a question for you, Pete.
Yeah.
So, when we're talking about the offer and people contracting kind of out of wariness or fear, somewhere on the spectrum of fear, right?
Yeah.
Cautious to just simply like closing down. I'm seeing that happen here with restaurants. Like they're either pivoting or they're closing down, like different things are happening. So with your clients, and you were talking about walking through the dark night of the soul or through hell or whatever. Some people decide to shut down and take residence there. Like, that's how I look at it. Like, okay, you're really giving up. So how do you help your clients? Or maybe a better question is, as a business owner, if I'm in that place where I'm feeling like, I don't know what to do, I feel like I'm just going to give up, just take the losses and go in a different direction that feels more secure to me.
Yes.
When in fact, there is an option that I just can't see because of my fear is like a blinder. How would you speak to me in terms of the offer that could maybe help me see some opportunity where all I can see right now is fear? Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Yep.
Is that too complicated of a question?
No, it's not, because that is one of the most important pieces of an irresistible offer. Now, if, as a refresher, the feeling I should get when you give me your irresistible offer is I should feel like I would be an absolute idiot not to do business with you, because you have literally removed all objections, or taken away all fear. It's that, you know, what I desire and what I fear, you know, you've taken all that away, and you've shown me this is how we can move forward. And quite honestly, you better deliver on that, right? We better come through, you know, on that, right? So that piece is most important. And some people, you know, clients that are attracted to me, they want that wake up call. They want that guy that's not their friend, that's going to kick them in the butt, send them a text, because I don't quit. Some, you know, we were just talking about this earlier, that in my mastermind, we had a lending company that's been lending for quite a while, and there was so many things. He's kind of a easy entry point would be the mastermind piece, right? And then I have a one-on-one lender, right? So real estate lending, can you imagine what's going on in the real estate lending industry right now?
Well, honestly, like, I see opportunity coming around the corner. That's what I see.
Sure.
So I'm probably crazy, but yeah. Okay. So the reality looks like nothing's happening right now, right?
And here's the challenge. Here's the challenge that literally just came up. He pulled himself out of the group and got a job. And it was because the uncertainty of the next 60, 90 days and the flip that needed to be made, changing from, you know, real estate maybe to business lending, or, you know, real estate to, you know, bridge loans, or whatever, however many ways that could come up, right? Apparently what happens is that there's exterior forces, such as maybe the significant other had something to say about it.
That never happens.
Never happens, right? Never.
No. There's never any pressure from your spouse or your kids or your, joking. That was a joke. Just in case I was serious.
Yeah. So, you know, the alignment of risk level, or, you know, your control bubble that you can control, your spouse or your significant other needs to be in there with you and make sure that they can take it, right? Now, conversely, my one-on-one client that's in the same business was on the phone with, I don't know if it was Bank America, or I forget the bank that he said. He's like, do you know that right now, because of the interest rate so high, they're requiring no down payment?
Exactly. That's what I would think. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. This is why I have learned, if there's anything I've learned from going alone for way too long in my life, it is that fear, when the world starts to contract, if you open up and, like you said, lean into it, you are going to see what very few people are seeing, because it's like you're peeking out from a limitation, from a limited viewpoint, and where everybody else is going, you're going, you're like, what's out there on the ship? Like, where could we possibly go? What is the advantage? Where's the opportunity? And that requires inner work. That requires leadership. That requires, like, someone like you to say, hey, just shift your gaze in this direction. When you said that, I just was impacted by the subtle observation that occurred. That's all it was a difference in where are you looking. That gives me shivers all over, because that means that you have the power inside of you. It's not what's going on out here.
Yeah.
What's this guy going to do now? And what is the other one going to do? And who's going to be more fulfilled overall?
So here is the ultimate answer to your question. Even though my guy came out of the mastermind, is not participating right now, he will not stop getting support and love from me, regardless of payment or not.
I love it. I totally get that, actually.
It's
How can you?
I'll never give up on him, right?
Oh, that's so great, Pete. Yeah.
Because I know deep inside he is an entrepreneur at heart, and
Mm,
he has the level of adventure and risk. I mean, to be an entrepreneur, you are pretty much the craziest people on the planet, right? Because it's the riskiest game you could ever play, right? And yeah, you're
yes. I
right.
mean, yeah, it depends on how you define risk, I guess.
That's the key, because it's our risk tolerance, it's our threshold that we can handle. It's how long can we go without a paycheck, right? That was the mess. The little whisper in the ear was, hey honey, there's no paycheck going on, we need a paycheck, right? So I know in my heart that he's coming back. It'll just take a little bit of time, and he'll because I know he got a ton of value. Now, my other guy that is in the same pit of despair right now, that everything just dried up, his phone just stopped ringing, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a terrible feeling.
Sure. And he's
We
got,
all know that.
sure. And now to dig in and say, oh my God, this bank is offering no, you don't have to put a down payment on it because they know their interest rates are so darn high. Can you imagine? Right. So here's opportunities. And I'm like, let's go find 10 or 15 of those stories and find out what is actually working right now. And there's the homework. There's the homework.
Yeah,
Let's go find the opportunity, because when everybody's scared, we lean in and we've got to go see
exactly.
what's possible. Right. And we can then get excited about it. However, if I say to you that we all didn't see this coming, I'd be lying. Because we all knew
Yeah,
interest rates were going to get jacked. We all knew
right,
the economy had to get, a cold bucket of water splashed on it just to cool it off.
right.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, house prices, in that respect are just off the chart crazy, right? It's just,
Yes.
it's not sustainable, right?
No.
So the ability to kind of anticipate what's going to happen, and ahead of when my phone stopped ringing, I need to have these plans in place to be able
Yeah.
to say, all right, hey, this is coming. I know it's coming. I've got to prepare for it ahead of time.
Yes.
That's really, and who's there with you to get you thinking that way? When you're in the trenches and you're in that cubicle or in your office going, oh my God, this is insanity right now. Where did my business go?
This is truly the advantage, a huge advantage to having a coach that so many times I didn't have, because I didn't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And you also don't realize how much it's going to take to do what you need to do wherever you are in the trenches.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are really, really good points. So when you say the homework, then that would become, whoops, sorry, something happen. That would become, when you say the homework, that would become focusing on what your offer is to then serve your clients better, because what you're really doing for them is the same thing that you are doing for your client, right? You're creating safety, security, certainty. That is the process from the top down, what you give your clients. Like if I were working with you, I would feel like, oh my gosh, he keeps pouring into me and I'm not even showing up. And that enables me to maybe take a look at, wow, maybe I can believe in myself. He is still continuing to believe in me. There's a lot of power in that. That's leadership. And it assists that person to then lead themselves. And then how do you help this other person come up with an offer that helps other people lead? It's all about everyone leading themselves to more expansion, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because the leader that you and I are talking to sure as heck has a team of, 3 salespeople, some producers, and some suppliers that they need to show up for every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the level of excitement and enthusiasm that I exude when I come and come to my business in the morning versus coming in going, oh my God, what's going to happen to me today? Oh, I can't take any more bad news. Are you kidding me? Who wants that guy to show up to business? Right. No way. And when you pour into those people and you have that person on your team, your coaching clients, and they see that,
Mm-hmm.
it can rebuild and restore that faster than they would on their own.
And that's what an irresistible offer is as well. So that you can help me as a client come work with you, like, or buy your shampoo or whatever it is, whatever your thing is.
Think of the restaurant. We were talking about restaurants closing up earlier before the podcast, right? So if you owned a restaurant right now, what would you be doing for your clients right now? Prices are going up. Your suppliers are, not showing up with the food. It's causing you to maybe cut your menu down. All these things, supply chain issues, whatever is going on. What are you doing for your clients right now?
For my restaurant customers, I don't know. I mean, what popped in my head was build community for them and safe places where I'd start adding tons of value. I wouldn't want to cut my cost because there's no margins. I had a restaurant and man, it's a tough business. Talk about tiny margins. And I don't want to pour too much alcohol into these people either. So, because that's where all the margins are, by the way. But I think I would think, what else do they need? Well, they need support, they need community, they need love, they need encouragement. So I would do some kind of add-on. I mean, that's just what came to my mind. I'm not sure what you're looking for.
No, you're going in the right direction, because instead of being, a restaurant owner can be apologetic to their clients saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I just had to increase my prices and this happened and that happened, so we just changed our menu and so forth. No, it's like,
Yeah,
okay, no, we need to change our menu and be able to add more into those, just use bundling as an example, right? How much
yes.
can I include a dessert that, that the markup on a dessert is crazy and you could throw it in, but I make it up on volume, because you can get a appetizer, dessert, and a glass of wine all included with the entree. And nobody up and down the street is even doing that right now because they're so scared they had to change their prices, right?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, and I know this works, the more you open up, there is just abundance in the world. So what came to my mind when you were saying that is, what you do is then you open even more, and you're like, when you come and you experience this, we give you this to give to your friend. Like, you bring in another person. You just keep expanding. And so maybe it becomes a 2-for-1 or something, you offer 2 meals for the price of one on the weekend, where everybody, I don't know, you make it, and you start celebrating when it feels like you should be mourning.
Yep. And you think of this too, if you're in the food business and you could get creative around, creating like a food bank, or have a presence in your community that, for every meal that you sell, because the people that are coming to eat out are still enjoying, eating out, right? But if I all of a sudden feel so much better because I bought a meal from you, and that means you're going to feed a meal to the homeless person down at the shelter, even though your prices got jacked up.
Yeah. Then where am I going to go eat? At your place.
I'm coming to your place. That's right. I'm coming to your place because I get to feel I'm not only supporting local businesses, but I'm helping others at the same time. So the alignment that you just said is brilliant. I mean, and how many businesses can do that and get creative around it?
I think more and more people as consumers are also choosing, they're selecting where they go and what they buy for a reason. Like, why does this business, we're tired of the the monopolies. So we want to support people who support our causes. That's really essential.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
you have to have a cause to support. So you have to, we talked about this last week, actually, didn't we? The owner, why are you in business as an owner? And so leaning more into just the authenticity of everything just works.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if you opened up your restaurant on Monday nights, that you turned it into like a self-serve soup kitchen, and you invited people to come out and, create that, and the homeless, or, people that are going through everybody's going through tough times right now. It's just different levels, right?
Right.
So how could I invite that and involve even the clients that come in and support my restaurant, let them experience, you know what I mean?
I
So
think you
many
should
different
open a
ways.
restaurant. You've got me so inspired.
But this is
Yeah.
what's so fun about, because just as much as we're bouncing stuff back and forth, you got that excitement. It's like, this is what's possible. This is what most get in our minds, and we just can't get out of it, right? And that's with any type of coach, or with any type of when you outreach for help, that expansion has to happen. I take it as my responsibility to kind of offer. I'm not, maybe not telling you what to do, but
Yeah.
throwing out some ideas. Which one do you like?
Yeah. Yeah. I was sharing with you earlier that my favorite restaurant here in Fort Collins, I found out last night, is they said it's closing. I was like, what? How can they be closing? And then he said, no, they're actually reopening in 30 days or whatever as a taco joint. And my first thought was, oh my God. Okay, first of all, we have more restaurants per capita in Fort Collins than I think anywhere on the globe. But do we really need another taco place? But then I thought, you know what? People will go there because, yes, I guess we need another, because people drink tequila and eat tacos. That's what they do here. Like, and people compare, they'll go and they'll try it. And if they can be a tiny bit different, like really all you have to do is be 10% different in some way, that may work. So that will be an interesting case study to see. They didn't close, they pivoted, they're listening to the market, and we'll see what their offer is going to be. Actually, I know what their offer is going to be, but I forget. It was something like 4 tacos for $4 to $9 or something.
That's awesome. That's
I
awesome.
don't know. I'll let you know. To me, it's
Yeah.
all about what kind of tequila goes with the tacos, but no, I'm kidding.
Tequila is definitely important for sure. Talking about tequila, that brings up one of the stories that I share in my seminars. I say that I don't steal, but I repurpose content, right? So I've been a student of my mentor for a long time, and he, you know who the John Paul Mitchell guy is, right?
Oh yes, I love that story. I love it.
So
Okay.
the John Paul Mitchell guy is, or Paul Mitchell shampoo,
Yeah.
right? It's John Paul George's, right? So he shows up at an event, and he starts talking about, did you know that he was the owner of Patron?
No, really? He was the owner, as in he sold it?
He created.
Oh, I did not know that.
This guy
Oh
bought
my goodness.
for $50,000. Swear to God.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Now, before Patron was Patron, he
Mhm.
went to a French perfume designer.
For the bottle?
Bottle. Yep. Design me a bottle for my Patron. I want it to.
Oh God.
Yep. And thus sold it. I don't know. He bought $50,000, got him 70% ownership in it. I think he sold it 7 years later for 7.2 billion, 7.1.
And it's all about the bottle. I
Right?
mean, the tequila is pretty good, but it's that it,
I know.
especially then. I mean, I don't know when then was, but yeah, wow.
Well, and
So
to your
it's all in how you package your tacos and your tequila. Maybe
point,
that's what they need to be looking at. Like, what does the taco
what's the
look like?
level, what's the level of the taco? What's the level of the tequila that they're offering with it too, you know?
Totally. In this place, they've never carried, they only carry Patron, actually silver. So I could never drink tequila there. And now we'll have to see, like, what are you doing? Where's the reposado? Where's the, yeah.
Yep.
So anyway.
Well, and then there's the platinum version, which is a couple $100 a bottle, and then
Right.
he also has an $8,000 bottle.
Yeah.
It's
That's
it,
crazy. Oh my God. $8,000. Okay.
yeah.
Well, you
So
see what happens. And he has such a great story. I mean, you know what I love and why I love what we're doing with the coaching collective and interviewing people is because, like, you and I, we work with Paul Mitchell at a different level.
right.
We work with people like your clients you're talking about. It's the same spirit, it's the same courage, it's the same dream, but it's always like, are you willing to, like, go forward, or are you camping out here for a month or a year or a decade or the rest of your life? Because you see the bones on the side of the road, you're like, I don't know, it's really, really crazy. So when you, if I just want to come back to this, looping back, I'm afraid I don't know if I can make it. How do I rethink my offers to help people? And it could be a restaurant or anything. How do I rethink that? Because you were saying earlier, the way you design an offer or maybe position it or whatever, offer it to people, can change your business pretty much immediately.
Yep. And this is where I would pose the question to kind of park this as maybe an inquiry for later, right? So as you're designing and going through this whole process of creating an irresistible offer, we then must ask the question, okay, which offer actually is responsible for growing your business?
Yeah.
Because if I create that offer, ultimately it must increase sales and profits, right? Mm-hmm. So when you go through that process, you asked, let me bring it back around. You said, how are we formulating that? How do we get our minds around that? Please remind me.
Yeah, how do I don't know what I asked, but it's basically, how do I rethink what I'm offering?
That's right. So the rethinking comes down to, okay, what does my ideal client, the person that comes in every Tuesday to my restaurant, the person that comes in every Friday with his wife, whatever, right? What does my ideal client really desire?
Yes.
And what do they fear?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now if I can close that in some way, you've nailed it. Because I can take away their fear and give them what they desire. It's that simple.
Do you think that
I'm afraid of hiring a coach because, oh my God, look at all this money I'm going to outlay. I'm so fearful.
Yeah. That's what we deal with all the time.
Yep. But if I guarantee,
is this going to make a difference? Do you think that business owners, the people that you've worked with, are aware of, I mean, you'd want to just assume that they are aware of what their ideal client is afraid of. But I think that's really fascinating. Do you think people are in touch with that? Like, what they want, they kind of know, but what they're afraid of?
I think they have an idea of what that could be because they've been successful this far getting to this point, right? So they have an idea. But when you get to unpack it, and now, and it's just like you, when you pull that woman out of her environment into yours, and she's in observation mode, and she's saying, okay, let me look at what's going on right now from a 500-foot view, not a 30,000, but just let's take 500 foot back, right? And let's see what's happening. if when you can do that and empower that client, now they get to see things differently, and now they get to see their clients differently, and maybe even in more detail, because you can tell me that how much they make, where they hang out, what town they live in, but I want to know what they do on vacation. I want to know
Mhm.
what their family structure looks like. I want to know, what's important to them, what stage of life are they in, right? Because the stage of life, how old we are, wherever we're at, that changes what our outcomes are, right? Even
Mhm.
even taking a look at the stage of life of our business. A business starts out as an infant and goes all the way till the money runs out and it's dead, right? So where are they in that stage of, where's the industry at? It all has to be taken into consideration. The realtors, for God's sakes, right now, what are they doing to stand out and add more value to their clients right now? It's a great question, right? How
Yeah, it often comes back to that.
Yeah. Think of what is that ideal? Is it idealrealtor.com or something like that that's advertising all over TV, the 2%,
I have no idea, not seen it.
2% commission on your, selling your house. It's like, what is,
Oh, wow, really?
oh yeah, how that is even possible, right? But they're attracting somebody that's concerned
Well,
about.
you know what? It's like, yeah, I get it. And that we see that in coaching all the time, right? It's like you can join or people are giving stuff away, like really good coaches are like, just come to my session, and it's a group session. It's a lot of great information. But you have to really understand, even like with a realtor, what am I looking for?
Yep.
What do I really want? So I think often what happens in these times of crisis is we contract rather than taking a moment to just reflect and become aware of, okay, where am I? What do I need to move forward? Instead of just like huddling in and hanging out and hoping that storm's going to pass and we're going to still be okay after the hurricane, right?
I'll give you a perfect example. When we were looking and we found the zip code that we wanted to be in when we moved, right? Um, our realtor absolutely loved us because we didn't make her go drive neighborhoods and go see this, go see that, all the way up from Pennsylvania, right? We didn't
Yeah.
do it. We just didn't do it. We would, my wife would do a lot of research and find whatever, looked good and so forth and so on. And we might call and just ask for an opinion about what was going on in the neighborhood or what have you, right? But my point is that we would literally fly down here for 2 or 3 days, go site visit every single house that we earmarked, and only call her when we wanted to see the inside of one. So
But you
she
were
never,
loyal to this woman for some reason.
here's
And
why.
okay, good. Yeah.
No, here's why. Because instead of valuing her ability to put me in her car and go see and visit and talk and, schmooze and all this I didn't want any of that. What I valued in her is the knowledge of what's going on in the neighborhood mechanically with like flood zones and all this kind of stuff. That's where her highest and best use was for us. We needed all kinds of other certainty about what was going on around the neighborhood. But when it was ultimately time to kick it in and say, nope, here's the one we're going for, she was right there through the whole thing, and it was wonderful, right? So it depends on where you are and what you value, and she exuded that, which is
Yeah.
why we gave the loyalty to that. Like I could have gone with the listing agent of the house, but no,
Right.
I wanted her on my team giving me the other perspective. Hey, did you know this about Florida? Well, no, I didn't know this about Florida, or know this about the neighborhood. You know what I mean? So
I know what you mean. And typically it is those things that often we don't know until we look back and we realize, wow, I wish I would have had that person on my side during
yeah,
these different periods of growth or whatever. So um so many things to think about, and knowing what you want and where you're going and being open to like expanding. Just this conversation alone about being more expansive rather than contracting is everything, honestly. It
Yeah.
will guide everything.
Yep. And the real, and I want to come back to the important question. Which of your irresistible offers is solely responsible for growing your business?
Mhm.
Because it is a game changer. There's no question about it. Of all things, you change your offer, you change your life. No question.
I know. I feel like we could talk about this again, because, and maybe getting more, maybe we do like a case study of a business and their offers, because I know that it can take playing with it sometimes. Like you don't always even know. And the growth of a business is so much about just getting really clear on the results that you are able to give to someone, what you can't. Like last week, you were talking about what can you guarantee?
Yep.
And how many business owners, when you look them in the eye and you say that, go, I don't know what, can I guarantee you're going to like this? Can I get, well, that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway,
And
really interesting.
guarantees can be kind of a loose promise. You know what I mean?
I understand.
They may not have enough meat and potatoes in there to really gain what it really needs. Because that guarantee has to give complete certainty to that client. And just say, just maybe remove all risk from them even stroking that big fat check to you, right? It better remove all that guarantee. As long as you're willing to stand behind that, I can't lose. As the client, I can't lose.
Yeah, it's kind of a good place to start, actually, because a lot of people don't know, or they can't say, or they'll say no guarantees, like that's how you come into my world. And then
Price thing. I mean, we want to do, we want to bring, we think we know what the client can afford, but what's the real cost to the client if they don't change this?
Mhm.
That's the real cost of it. It's not your fee. It's what happens 6 months down the road had we not,
So true.
right? That's
Yes.
monumental in some cases.
And in real estate and in really every business, that is and you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. That's what makes our job fun. So
I know.
this is what's awesome.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
and the other cool thing about it is you get to share and keep all those experiences as arrows in our quiver for pulling out and showing as an example. Because my mentors' stories, the stories about successes of others, and the challenges that they went through, it's like, man, it's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's about how many times you get up, right?
That is absolutely fact. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm biting my tongue because I want to take this down another trail.
I know.
So many, it's like I really am holding myself back. But we will have more opportunities for these conversations. And I do want to invite anyone who wants to learn more about Pete. You can reach out to me, you can comment. And again, I'll have a link in there. You can literally jump on a call with him. He's offering that as long as we're doing these live Wednesdays. So that's a tremendous opportunity. And I can't imagine anyone not taking advantage of that, actually, especially right now. And I'll also put the link, like I do every week, to the Coaching Collective, which is simply an opportunity for you, anyone, to register and then participate in these interviews where you can listen to all kinds of different coaches in different niches, and you'll learn so much. I mean, these are really, really great people. So just trying to expand and help everyone to expand your mind, your network, your opportunity, your perspective. And that is truly what this is all about. And again, Pete, I acknowledge you and appreciate you and value you so much in your time. And we're going to be back here again next week, right?
I look forward to it. What a great time spent with you as always. And can't wait to see what we talk about next week.
Yeah, me too. Okay, probably tacos and tequila will be probably 30 days out. And I'll give you a report on that.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. See you now.
Ciao.